Hey guys, what's going on? My name is Anton, and welcome to today's video for Honkai Star Rail. Now, what are we going to be doing today? Well, HoYo has currently given us a new event, and this event is called Aetherium Wars. Uh, this event, it is sort of like a Pokemon-style game, if you will. But more importantly, there are rewards, and very importantly, one of those rewards is a free 4-star. Now, these free 4-stars, they are being chosen from a pool, but you get to choose from this pool, so you can't choose out of all the 4-stars in the game. So sorry, if you don't have a Ting Yun, you're not getting a Ting Yun. But as you can see, the 4-stars you can choose from are pretty solid 4-stars. They are Serval, Pella, Hook, and Luca. Now, I'm making this video because some people probably aren't sure which character to grab. Personally, I think they are all really solid characters, and you can't really go wrong with choosing any of them. And it does depend on your account. It will depend how many Eidolons you have for each character. Really quick, for the people who don't want to hear any reasoning or anything, and they just want to know, like, hey, just tell me what the best character to pick. In my opinion, the best character to pick, assuming you have none of them, I'd say Pella. I think Pella is the best of all of these characters, and you should definitely pick Pella. She is great in all kinds of content, and she's amazing. But what we are going to be doing in this video, besides just saying, hey, pick Pella, we're going to go through and really quickly, we'll go through and give a quick summary for each of the characters. And I'll talk more and more about certain scenarios where I think maybe one character is better than, say, Pella or what. Obviously, if you have, say, one of these characters at E6 already, you're obviously not going to choose them. Let's say you have, like, Serval at E6. You're not choosing Serval. But yeah, I think all of these characters are really good. So let's go and do a quick summary of each character. All right, so first off, we'll go in order. We'll talk about Serval first. Now, Serval, very simple character. She is an AoE lightning damage dealer. Not much to talk about here. With her basic attack just does damage. Skill does a little bit of AoE. Ultimate also does some AoE. Talent deals some more damage to those who are shocked. So, whatever. Personally, Eidolons for her, really good. First up, we got E1. Makes it so her basic attack does a little bit of splash damage. Really, really good. E2 gives her a little bit more energy. E3 and E5, you know, like every other character, increases skills, basics, ultimates, talents. E4 basically guarantees a shock on non-shocked units, which gives her some nice synergy with Kafka. E6 lets her put out even more damage against those who are shocked, so this works really well with her E4. So Serval, I would say Serval is fine, a fine choice out of all four of these characters if you don't have a lightning damage dealer. So basically you don't have Kafka or Jingyuin, specifically an AoE lightning damage dealer. Now, if you have Kafka or you have Jingyuin, she's kind of a little lackluster because both of those characters kind of outdamage her. Yes, there are arguments for her even against those two, but honestly, if you have a Kafka or a Jingyuin and you like using those, I'd say skip Serval. And yes, there are arguments to be made for using Serval with Kafka, and I do legitimately think she's not that great with Kafka, but she is playable with Kafka. Now, let's talk about our next character here. Like I said, I think she is the best choice of all of these characters, the strongest, most versatile of all four of these characters. We have Pella. So what does Pella do? Well, at her heart, at her core, she has an ice debuffer with a enemy buff strip, basically a strip skill. Her basic attack's nothing special, just deals some damage. The skill is what strips, removes a debuff and then deals some damage. The ult is also really nice. AoE ice damage ult, which is whatever, you're not using her for her damage. Enemies defense reduced by 30%. Basically it exposes them, 100% chance to do that, and that reduces their defense. So a defense shred. AoE defense shred. This and the debuff or the buff shred are why Pella, in my opinion, is so good. And then as for her talent, the talent is, it's not bad, but it's not amazing. It's like if the enemy is debuffed after her attack, she gets a little extra energy. Whatever. So I would say Pella is arguably the second best debuffer in the game after Silverwolf. And in all honesty, there are some advantages that Pella has over Silverwolf. They both do enough different things that I wouldn't even say one is always better than the other. Like, while I think more often than not, Silverwolf is better than Pella, I do think there is some content where you would like Pella over Silverwolf, especially against those Mara-struck enemies that have revives and stuff. Basically, when enemies have buffs you want to remove, Pella's great. Also pretty solid for an ice team as well. Now, there is a problem with Pella. Yes, she is a great character. If you don't have her, choose her. I cannot reiterate that enough. If you don't have Pella, you want Pella from this event. Now, you might say, okay, but I have Pella. See, now that's where you might not want Pella anymore, because in my opinion, personally, I think her Eidolons kind of suck. Yes, E3 and E5 are nice because they buff up her ultimate, her talent, her basic, whatever. But E1, enemies defeated by Pella, or enemies defeated, Pella gets some energy. It's not terrible, it's not great. E2, using the skill to remove a buff increases her speed by 10% for 2 turns. Again, it's fine. It's not game-changing. Like, these are not game-changing, like, huge improvements to your account kind of Eidolons. E4? E4, in my opinion, though, is the one, I wouldn't say, like, really, really good. Probably the best of her Eidolons. When she uses her skill, 100% chance to reduce the target enemy's ice resistance by 12%. In a lot of teams, this doesn't mean anything, but those mono ice teams, you know, Jingliu, Yanqing, Japard teams, those kind of teams, love this. Just a little bit more, helps her put out a little bit more damage. Combined with her defense shred too, this is really nice. And then her E6, it's like, she attacks a debuffed enemy, she deals additional ice damage, which is like, cool, but we're not really using Pella as a damage dealer. Yes, you can build her as a like sub DPS, but it's kind of a joke. Next up, we got Hook. Hook, I like her, but I think she's gonna kind of get power crept soon. She is a fire single target damage dealer. Yes, she's destruction, but she plays more like a hunt character, mostly single target damage, little bit of AoE there. Currently, she is really the only single target fire damage dealer. Yes, Himiko exists. Himiko is more of an AoE specialist than a single target damage dealer. And yes, the Fire MC exists, but the Fire MC is not really meant for dealing a lot of damage. So if you really want a single target fire damage dealer, Hook is good. She does put out pretty good damage numbers, especially with her Eidolons, and her Eidolons are very great. But she does work. She works with the burn DOT, and that's how she gets out a lot of damage. And like I was saying, her Eidolons are really good. So if you do have Hook and you want to, you know, keep using Hook, consider getting Hook for her Eidolons. E1, enhanced skill deals 20% increased damage. That alone is already a pretty big jump in power for her E1. E2 extends the duration of the burn caused by her skill by 1 turn. Pretty solid. E3 and E5, of course, just a +2 levels. E4, when the talent's triggered, there's a 100% base chance to burn, so just more burn. And then E6 deals 20% more damage to enemies afflicted with burn. Like, these are some pretty big DPS damage increases from her Eidolons. So if you are using Hook and you want to use Hook and you don't have her at E6 and you already have a Pella, you could consider getting Hook for her Eidolons. And our last character, we have Luca. The newest character too. Luca is a physical bleed DOT character. I guess you could say like debuffer, but he also puts out some pretty respectable damage himself. Kind of hard to explain about what he does. He has his basic attack that can get enhanced by his talent, which is Fighting Will. He gets these, I guess you could call them tokens, called Fighting Will. When he has 2 stacks of Fighting Will, his basic attack basically gets enhanced to Sky Shatter Fist. And helps him put out a lot more damage in the form of bleeds, and that is how he is going to be increasing his damage. Works well with Kafka, of course, because DOT. Lack of an AoE does kind of hurt him, though. I'd say he does put out some pretty solid single target damage, too, just by himself. But, again, I just said it, lack of AoE does hurt. And if you don't have Kafka for him, I would say he's kind of meh. Like, he's still okay as a damage dealer without Kafka, and that's fine, but if I was playing a physical, I guess the way I put it is, if I wanted physical single target, I'd rather play Su Shang. Now, of course, again, if you have Kafka, Luca's great. Without Kafka, he's kind of meh. However, he's still playable without Kafka, especially his Eidolons. His Eidolons, in my opinion, are pretty solid. E1 takes his action. If they're bleeding, increase damage dealt by Luca by 15% for 2 turns. That's a pretty big jump in damage, like 15%, and it's not just for the 1 turn. So that alone, that E1, already great. E2, if the skill hits an enemy target with physical weakness, gain 1 stack of fighting will, so it lets him just have his enhanced attack more often. Pretty solid. More often he has his enhanced attack, like most characters who have enhanced attacks, more damage he's putting out. E3 and E5, you already know, plus 2 levels to all this stuff. E4, more damage increase. For every stack of fighting will, increases attack by 5%, stacking up to 4 times, so that's a 20% increase in attack. That's huge. And then we got his E6, which is a lot of here to take in, but after he uses his enhanced attack, bleed stats will immediately trigger, basically, and deal some damage equal to 8% of the original damage for every hit of direct punch. So, more damage, basically. So, if you like Luca and you like his kit, and especially if you use Kafka, you might want to consider Luca because his Eidolons really increase his damage, and if you increase Luca's damage, that means your Kafka, if you're using Luca in a Kafka team, that means your Kafka team is doing all that much more damage as well. And while he does have the weakness of no AoE compared to someone like Sampo, another DOT character, Kafka puts out a lot of AoE by herself, so it's not a terrible weakness if you're pairing him with Kafka. So that is all 4 characters. Again, to wrap up, can't really go wrong with any of them. They're all solid. I would say, if I had to give a ranking, Pella is number 1, Luca is number 2, Serval is number 3, and Hook is number 4. And the only reason I'm putting Hook at the bottom is because Topaz is coming out. If you're not interested in Topaz, I would then put Hook over Serval. So I guess you could say, really, if we didn't know Topaz was coming out, I would then say Pella's 1, Luca's 2, Hook is 3, and then Serval is 4. You also get free Servals, I believe, when you start a new account. You get 1 free Serval, so you already even have a Serval. So, yeah, that's it. Quick summary. Grab Pella if you don't have Pella. If you have Pella, just grab whoever you like after that, in all honesty. I'd say if you don't have one of them, grab the character you don't have, because while all of these characters except for Pella are not used that much, especially Hook and Serval, they all have something they're okay at for late game stuff, even Simulated Universe, MOC, whatever. So they're all pretty solid. And I already went through all the Eidolons and all that stuff and why they're good. So again, to summarize, if you don't have Pella, pick Pella. After that, pick the character you like, basically, and maybe analyze your account. Be like, oh, I like Hook. I'll pick Hook to increase her damage. I'll pick Luca to increase his damage. I like Serval. I would like to try out Serval with Kafka, so let me try and get like this E4 Serval or whatever. Anyway, though, that's going to be it for today's video. Hope you all enjoyed it. I'd love to hear your opinion, though. What character do you think is the best 4-star of these 4 to choose? Do you like the event, too, as well? I haven't actually played much Aetherium Wars, but so far I like Aetherium War. Kind of would love to see a rerun of this kind of event, or just an event where we get other 4 stars for free. I would love to get another Tingyun for an Eidolon, or even an Asta. But yeah, if you just enjoyed the video, I'd love it if you could leave a like or a comment down below. It always helps me and always helps out the stream. And if you want to keep up with the Honkai Star Rail content, I always try to put out as much content as possible. You can always go and subscribe to the channel. And if you want to watch me play some Honkai Star Rail, you can go and check me out over on Twitch at twitch.tv/Zenatan, where I stream pretty much every single day. Anyway, though, with that all said and done, thank you all again once more for watching this video. And until I see you guys in the next one, bye.